That's 10,584 days. That is the time it has taken to stand before you and say what we long had hoped we could say. We have made an arrest in the murder of Trudy Appleby. On August 21st, 1996, 11-year-old Trudy Appleby was last seen near her home in Moline, Illinois. Witnesses observed Trudy getting into the passenger side of an older model, gray-colored vehicle driven by an unidentified male. Trudy had asked to go swimming with a friend on Campbell's Island, but her father had said no. But phone records from that day indicate she had gone ahead with those plans, and then she vanished. Nearly 3 decades, this case has haunted not only Trudy's family, but every investigator who touched it in our community. Her absence became a no matter how long it takes. Today, I can confirm that on August 13, 2025, Jamison Fisher was indicted by a grand jury in Henry County, Illinois, for the murder of Trudy Appleby. If you recall, back in 2020, I publicly named Fisher a person of interest in this case. Fisher was a family friend and associate of another suspect who died back in 2014. After the indictment yesterday, the Moline Police Department served an arrest warrant on Fisher, who was already in custody in the Scott County, Iowa jail on unrelated charges. At this time, we have not recovered the remains of Trudy, and due to that ongoing investigation, I'm unable to discuss in any more detail this part of the case. Fisher will remain in the Scott County Jail pending further court proceedings. This development is a result of tireless work by generations of investigators, unwavering support from our community, and new pieces of information that helped complete a long unfinished puzzle. But we never gave up. I want to take this moment to recognize the dedication of our detectives. First, I would like to thank Detective Mike Griffin, the case agent since 2016. Detective Griffin has relentlessly pursued answers, relentlessly pursued leads. His dedication has been remarkable. Detective Griffin has a saying, "We are the voice for the voiceless." It is his mantra. Now just 1 week shy of the 29th anniversary of Trudy's disappearance, we can be her voice. I would like to thank Sergeant Joe Cleaver, who has supervised this case over the last several months, along with Lieutenant Derek Colson, to get it to where we are today. I also want to thank previous detectives who worked so hard to bring this case to a conclusion. And although they did not get to the conclusion they were working so hard on in their careers, they built a solid foundation to continue to build on this case. Those detectives are all now retired, but they played such a critical role in this case. Those detectives include Detective Ricky Hodge, George Michaelis, Kim Hankins, Jay Titus, Mike Hutton, Dave Tertipis, Brian Johnson, and CID Administrative Assistant Doreen Adelfinger. I also want to thank Trudy's family for their strength, for their resilience, and their trust in us. They never stopped hoping, and neither did we. The Moline Police have been assisted by numerous law enforcement agencies over the years. Some are here today, including the Illinois State Police, the Kelowna Police Department, the Henry County Sheriff, the Rock Island County Sheriff, the FBI, Davenport Police Department, Scott County Sheriff, the Iowa 7th Judicial District, and the Moline Public Works. Now I'd like to introduce Kathy Runte, Henry County State's Attorney. She will be joined by Rock Island County State's Attorney Dora Villarreal to provide details regarding the charges.
Jamison Fisher has been indicted by a Henry County grand jury with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of concealment of a homicidal death. They charge in count 1 that he, knowingly and without lawful justification and with the intent to kill T.A., date of birth 9/4/1984, strangled T.A., thereby causing her death. In count 2, they charge that he knowingly and without lawful justification, strangled T.A., date of birth 9/4 of 1984, knowing that such act created a strong probability of death or great bodily harm to T.A. In count 3, they charge that he, without lawful justification, and while in the course of committing a forcible felony, to wit, kidnapping, strangled T.A., date of birth 9/4 of 1984, thereby causing her death. And in count 4, they charge that he, with the knowledge that T.A. had died by homicidal means, knowingly concealed her death by hiding and or moving her body. We are committed to bringing justice to the members of our communities, working together across agencies and jurisdictional boundaries to ensure that our citizens are protected. Ms. Villarreal, the Rock Island County State's Attorney, as well as the Appellate Prosecutor's Office, were brought in to ensure that as we worked our way through the significant amount of evidence, we were able to accurately pinpoint proper jurisdiction for this case. We are appreciative of all the agencies who contributed to this investigation, as well as our office staff and the courthouse staff for their patience as we have navigated this case. Law enforcement agencies have been working this case since Trudy went missing. Our offices met in December to go over the significant progress that has been made in recent years on this once cold case. Over these last months, together we have reviewed hours of interviews, hundreds of police reports and documents, and listened to multiple witnesses share their recollection of the days surrounding Trudy's disappearance in 1996. We want to stress that anyone charged with a crime is innocent until proven guilty. The grand jury has returned their indictment against this defendant, and we look forward to proceeding to trial.
I would like to again highlight our appreciation to the Henry County State's Attorney's Office, the Henry County Sheriff's Department, and all of the Henry County courthouse staff who welcomed us and assisted us in making all of this possible. The Moline Police Department, and in particular, Detective Michael Griffin, and his entire investigation unit for the endless hours they put in to bring these indictments forward over the past many, many months. I would also like to thank David Robinson, the Chief Deputy Director of the Illinois Appellate Prosecutor's Office, for joining our legal team and bringing his experience with other similar cold case prosecutions to assist us throughout the entirety of these proceedings. Finally, we want to again acknowledge all of the agencies that have contributed to the Appleby investigation over the past 3 decades, including the Illinois State Police and the Kelowna Police Department, among many, many others. Without your work and dedication, we would not be here today. While the indictments today include charges of murder and concealment of a body, we do want to share that this investigation did reveal sufficient evidence to support charges that Trudy was abducted from her home in Moline, Illinois, by the same perpetrator. However, due to the statute of limitations, we were not able to proceed on the kidnapping charges. In Illinois, both murder and concealment do not carry the same statute of limitations, and our legal team is grateful to be able to move forward with the prosecution of these charges together here in Henry County. Most importantly, the news today is for all of the children in our respective communities. They should be free to walk to a park or to go swimming at any time of the day, and feel safe. Your elected officials and law enforcement agencies want all parents and all families to feel secure in the knowledge that we will never leave any victim behind, and we will work tirelessly to ensure justice and accountability, no matter how long it takes.
Well, thank you again to Kathy, Dora, and David for their partnership and leadership in bringing this case to the point of prosecution. Listen, today is not about celebration. It's about a resolution. It's about accountability. And most importantly, it's about Trudy Appleby. This arrest does not erase the pain, but it does bring us one step closer to closure. We hope it offers a measure of peace to her family and to all of those who have walked this journey with them. I will remind anyone who doubts us that if you commit crimes, violent crimes, in the city of Moline, we will hunt you down, no matter how long it takes. If it takes us 30 minutes, 30 hours, or 30 years, we will find you. We are dedicated to public safety. Now, as we move forward, I want to emphasize that this case will be tried in the court of law, not in the court of public opinion. We ask for your understanding, as we will not be able to share specific details of the investigation or the evidence or the prosecution. We will take a few limited questions, but please understand that we are bound by the judicial process, and it's our responsibility to get this case over the finish line. Our focus remains on ensuring justice is served thoroughly and fairly. Thank you again for your support in the news media, as well as our community members who continued to honor Trudy's memory by telling her story year after year with dignity. A press release will be sent out. I know Andrew Reyes said he would go out during this. We had a little bit of internet connectivity issue here. We'll make sure it goes out afterwards. We did bring a few hard copies of both the press release and the mugshot of the individual that I can give you until we can get you digital copies of those. Hopefully that helps. His current mugshot, as I mentioned, he's already in the Scott County Jail in custody of the Scott County, Iowa Sheriff. And as you know, those are available online. We'll take a few questions, but again, just ask you that you would respect the judicial process. We'll do the best we can. I know that many of you have a lot of questions, understandably, but again, our focus now is moving from arrest to conviction. So, Jenna.
Jenna Jackson, KWQC. I want to start with, as you mentioned, it's not a day of celebration, it's a day of resolution. What was the family's reaction, if you can share, when you guys broke that news to them?
Well, I think, as you may imagine, there's mixed emotions. This doesn't bring Trudy back, but it's a relief. It's certainly a relief.
And if I can just continue, we've seen the countless social media campaigns, the targeted messaging from the police department. We will get you. Look out behind you. We're coming for you. You know what happened. Did this investigation, this indictment come from a tip from somebody in particular?
It came from you, your work as journalists. It came from the community that kept this story alive for almost 29 years. Over time, people become more cooperative. They understand that it's not going away. And that's an important role that both you and I have as partners to educate the public. And by doing so, we kept that story in their minds. I would doubt that if you could go anywhere in the greater Quad City area and find somebody who doesn't know the story, or at least the name of Trudy Appleby. And that is a testament to your work as journalists to keep covering it year after year, decade after decade. And then when we follow up on leads or the next person, in the back of their mind, they know this isn't going away. You cannot escape this through time because we're going to continue to work it. And so I thank you, all of you, for continuing that.
And this is coming really close to the 29-year anniversary of her disappearance. Did this indictment come, close to that on purpose, or were you just at this point in the investigation?
Yeah, so the timing of the criminal justice system is what it is. It had no relevance to next week's anniversary. I think Kathy Runte had mentioned earlier, we've been working specifically on this current phase for months. I think we initially thought that it would land a little earlier in the calendar, but it did not, and we're at this point now. But I think it is, it's a little nice to change the tone of next week's vigil to that of comfort and resolution other than pain and wonder and mystery. So I think that it definitely gives a different aspect to that. Tom?
He's been on this case and doing a lot of lead work for years. And just wanted to know from Griff, how long have you been on the police board?
Come on. You didn't want to talk today, Tom.
Well,
I've been on 21 years, and I've been on this case, as Chief Galt said, since 2016.
but basically this has spanned your entire career here.
Yeah, most of it.
Okay.
For Detective Griffin, actually, if you could say.
You're stuck.
Sorry, Bob.
As Chief Galt mentioned, I mean, this has been kind of your case that you've worked really hard at. Can you just talk to us about your emotions today? I know this has got to be mixed feelings here.
God, you had to ask that question. It's not my case. I think Chief Galt and both attorneys said it. It's our case. It's the community's case. We'd have never done this without the community support. Chief Galt just said it that, a couple of years ago, Crime Stoppers put a billboard of just Trudy's face up that said, if you know something, say something. We didn't have to put our name. It's because of all of you. It's, Kelowna Police Department, the Illinois State Police, FBI, Henry County, all the people that they've named, and recently Davenport Police Department. This is our case. If you ever want a case study on how well law enforcement works together, I think this would be at the top of that list. So it's nothing that we can solely take credit for or say it's our case. We've done this together. Our communities, this is a community win. I hope they feel that too.
Any other questions? Jenna's full of them.
I've got many questions.
You've got many.
If I could ask one of the state's attorneys.
Sure.
For the state's attorney, this is, as you guys mentioned, this is a case where at this point no remains have been found. I know there's been success in other cases like this where you don't have a body in this circumstance. Can you just talk to us about, actually putting through the indictment without having remains?
So this case would actually be the 605th no-body homicide nationally over the years. That by no means makes it common, as you would imagine, but the law allows for it, and we intend to utilize those aspects of the law to continue to advocate for Trudy.
Yes, again, I think we have had a great legal minds that were able to work together with all of the information and investigation that the law enforcement agencies have done, and we feel confident about the law being on our side in supporting the indictments.
So I know we've given you a lot of information. As you can imagine, this case is very complicated. It's spanned nearly 30 years. I can tell you that by working with these fabulous individuals from multiple jurisdictions, it's just a testament, as Detective Griffin said, to the cooperation in our area. If you can imagine working on a 10,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, the complication of putting that together, the time it takes to put that together. Now imagine doing it with no picture on the box that you bought it from. It's just a blank box in all these pieces. And it takes a long time. And you got to find the right pieces to fit together. So in order you can take that finished product to a prosecutor and present them with not just jumbled pieces, but something that fits together and makes sense and is a clear picture for them to prosecute. And that by no means is an easy task. And as I mentioned, many detectives from the Moline Police Department played a role in that, and we are just so grateful for the really good police work that was done in 1996 and the decades after that that set the Moline Police Department up in a current, modern time to continue to build on that case. That we were able to walk it to prosecutors confidently with that puzzle put together, but it was a foundation that was laid. And so I think what is oftentimes difficult for the public to understand is when they feel like nothing is going on in the background, when they see a name like Trudy Appleby or Corey Harrell Jr. or Jerry Wolking, and they think that nothing is occurring. And I think this highlights the work that is going on every day in every jurisdiction around the Quad Cities and around the state of Illinois and frankly the country, that we have many of those dedicated professionals in this room today from these agencies, detectives and command staff, investigators from different counties and different cities that are coming into work every day just working their tails off on cases, sometimes spinning their wheels, but they don't give up. And so if you get a chance, thank one of them if you see them out, because they're doing great work. So, yes, sir.
Is, going forward, as we've already mentioned, are you still looking to try and locate her remains? Or can you talk about that process, or even in generic terms, on how, if you are continuing to try and find?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, with any case, the investigation doesn't stop at the charging document, right? We will continue to pursue anything that comes up, anything additional. And we will continue to work with these three fabulous prosecutors. If they see something that needs to be looked at further or another piece comes up, there will be a lot of legal proceedings that occur in the next coming weeks and months and maybe years, I don't know. And we hope that at some point we'll be back in front of you to give you better answers. But this is the current phase we're in, and the investigation does not stop today. So.
I see we have a detainer on him over at Scott County. Do you know when you're going to initiate extradition?
So his charges in Scott County are still pending. We need to give time for those charges to be resolved. We do have mechanisms available to us to bring him back over here. So I have no concern about him not being in custody at this time. Just need to make sure that we are allowing all those processes to work appropriately.
All right, we'll give another final call. If any of the journalists have any questions, Jenna?
Yeah, just, there have been times where you guys have named persons of interest in the past. Jamison Fisher was among them. Are you guys, let me see how I'm going to say this. In this indictment, are you saying that he is the sole person who murdered Trudy Appleby? Or do you believe still that the others were involved in the murder, they just have since passed?
Yeah, I'll say this. We will pursue evidence and criminal justice with whatever is available to us. As I mentioned on one of the other questions, this investigation doesn't stop today. I'm confident in talking with the prosecutors. If those pieces of the puzzle fit, we'll go after them. Right now, this is the phase we're in of charging this individual. But I'm pretty confident that if anything else arises, we'll be knocking on more doors and coming for more. So if you want to stop by a police department today and cooperate, you're more than happy. We'll take your information. Anyone else? Last call. A couple closed notebooks. That's pretty good. Well, again, my closing again is. I'm so thankful to the media and the community that they didn't give up. And so I would just ask you, again, to keep that in mind, that this is not the only case that is unresolved in the Quad Cities, in other jurisdictions. And so I want this to be a message that there's partner law enforcement agencies here working cases. There's Moline detectives here working cases. We'll find you. They will find you. We're not giving up. We had, in 2019, when I became the police chief in Moline, we had 7 cold cases. We're down to 2. And we're not stopping. We're going to keep working. We're going to help other agencies partner with them like they helped us. And I would just ask you, if you see a news article about asking for information, if you see a visual about a case that's lingering, participate in it. Ask your neighbors about it. Find out if somebody knew something. Report that to Crime Stoppers. Cooperate with law enforcement. We can't do this alone in our community. We rely on the public to help. And this is a great example of how, as a community, together, as citizens, law enforcement, and prosecutors, we can make our community safer, better, and come to these resolutions as partners. And so I'd ask that from the community. Just keep it up. Keep working with us. So thank you very much for coming today. Again, we're not going to do any individual interviews today, just for consistency in the reporting. We appreciate you making the trip out here today. Thank you very much, and God bless.
That's the Moline Police Chief wrapping up an investigation that the whole community has been invested in. The disappearance of Trudy Appleby, who was 11 years old at the time. Now this man, 50-year-old Jamison Fisher, has been indicted on multiple murder charges in her disappearance back in 1996. He's currently being held in the Scott County Jail. This is his mugshot. And again, he's being indicted on first-degree murder and concealment of a death. Now, it's been a very emotional day because, as we've mentioned, this case has gone on so long. TV6's Jenna Jackson, as you heard, is at that news conference. We're going to go back to her in just a few minutes to find out who else was in the room for this announcement. But because it's been an emotional day and because the community has been so invested in this case, we can say the community can breathe a sigh of relief after many years of wondering what happened to Trudy. KWQC's Matt Christensen joins us now with a look back at the case that has had the attention of the Quad Cities for almost 29 years. Matt?
Yeah, Marcia, as time passed without any answers, police developed a photo of what Trudy would have looked like as an adult. You can see it here. It gives you an idea of just how much time has passed since the 11-year-old disappeared from a friend's house in Moline, near her house in Moline, rather. Now, Appleby was last seen on August 21st, 1996, getting into the passenger side of a gray car with a man. Immediate leads didn't turn up much, and the case stalled for years. But investigators never stopped. This case took them all over the Quad Cities. They excavated around a house on Campbell's Island. They combed the Rock River near Kelowna. They seized a boat that they thought contained forensic evidence. Police even put up billboards in East Moline urging witnesses to come forward. The case was even featured on several national TV programs. And every year, Appleby's family and members of the community held vigils on the anniversary of her death. The next one is coming up on August 21st. Then, suddenly in 2017, a break in the case. Police identified William Ed Smith, who is already dead, as a person of interest. Then in 2020, police named two more men, David Whipple, who also died, and Jamison Fisher, the man who is identified today. And I was there when authorities dug up Fisher's backyard in Kelowna in 2023, searching for Appleby's body. He told me then that he was innocent.
All right, thank you, Matt. Now we continue our live team coverage with KWQC's Jenna Jackson, as we mentioned. She was in on that live news conference at the Henry County Courthouse in Illinois. As we said, this was a multi-agency news conference. A lot of agencies have been involved in this case. Jenna, who else was in the room as this announcement was made?
Yeah, Marcia, I have to say, this is a really packed room right now, and it's not a very large room either. So there were several different people in this room from several different agencies. There was a canine in here as well, a dog over here, Shiloh. I do want to say, right now, afterwards, there's still people in this room. They are taking photos with the Moline Police Department, Detective Griffin, and some of the other agencies involved. And as we said, I mean, being from the Quad Cities, as Chief Galt said, Trudy Appleby, there's nowhere you can go that you really don't know her name or you haven't heard her name. I just want to go through just a couple of the things that we did learn from this press conference, and that was that, again, 50-year-old Jamison Fisher has been indicted for 3 counts of first-degree murder as well as concealment of a homicidal act. Now, at this time, the brand new information that we learned from that, other than the indictment, is that they are saying that
Fisher strangled Trudy. So those are some new details coming out of this press conference. They say that she was abducted from her home in Moline, but at this time they say they are not able to put kidnapping charges on this case because of the statute of limitations. However, the homicide and the concealment of homicide, those do not have a statute of limitations. And I just want to reiterate, something that Chief Galt said is that today, while I think, detectives in this room, I can see them smiling. I can see that they are relieved. They are, somewhat joyous. This is not a celebration for them as well at all. This is a moment of resolution to some sense. Again, they still have not identified or found her remains at this time, and we know that throughout the years we've seen several different searches for her remains. Again, those have not been found at this time, but they said that they are at least one step closer. You heard me ask about the family. Notably, the family is not here today, but they did say that this is, again, bittersweet. This does not bring Trudy back. Trudy Appleby is not back with us. However, again, this is just one step closer to resolution for them. This is a story we've continued to follow. Of course, we will continue to follow it, and we will continue to follow it throughout the day today, so stay tuned. But for now, in Cambridge, Jenna Jackson, KWQC, TV6 News.
All right, thank you, Jenna. A lot to take in today, and so we are going to take a break, but we're going to have more news and weather for you coming up right after this.